If you remember, I did the Cougar KD, and that one was for dirt. This one is Astro and carpet spec. So that is the main difference between the two cars. Besides that, there's a lot of similarities with the Cougar KD and the KC. Right off the bat, let's talk about the layouts, because this car is all about what layout you can actually put in it and for what surface. So as you can see, there's 4 different layouts. Layout 1 is going to be for your highest grip tracks. And then layout 4 is going to be for your low grip tracks. And they also say for tight tracks. So layout 1, motor is all the way forward, basically in the middle of the car. And then your battery is going to be between your rear differential and the motor. Layout 2 is similar, but you get a motor that's a little bit farther back. It says 21 millimeters of a difference. Layout 3, this is where the biggest change happens. So you got the motor now farther back, and the battery is now moved to the front or center of the car. And then layout 4, you have the motor all the way back, and the battery can be moved either forward or back, depending on how you mount it. It also says saddles, square packs, and shorty batteries. The description on the box couldn't be more perfect for the time. This is when everything was changing. Racing has changed, tracks have changed, and to keep up with the times, basically they had to make this Cougar KC for all the different tracks and all the different options. I love this little detail here. Shark fin body shell. It sure did have that shark fin, and I'll show you guys that in a minute. Besides that, the rest of the car is very similar. All the options and all of these call-outs are similar to the KD. Same shocks, chassis is very similar, things like that. And there's that shark fin. Oh, if it will focus. It's a very long two-wheel drive buggy, kind of like the KD was as far as wheelbase. This one, of course, is for the higher grip tracks. You had to protect the carpet, and that's what that shock tower protector is for. It protects the carpet, not the car. So even though you might think it's protecting the car, it's actually there to not tear up the carpet when you do have a wreck. There you go. You get an idea of the layout from that right there. Look how far forward that motor would be mounted. And then you have the option, like I said, for the saddle, the square, or the shorty pack in the back. I loved all the carbon fiber they used to put on these cars. Now a lot of their two-wheel drive buggies just come with the S1 material. So it's cool to see how it had the side guards. The battery mounts are even carbon. The shock towers, a lot of different pieces on there. So inside the kit, you would actually get the parts needed to do any of the layouts. So you'll get the different belts you need to move the motor forward and back. And then there's a few other little pieces that you'll need for that. Here's a look at the manual showing the different parts you would need to move the motor around. So you get those braces. It's got some different bearings that you would need. Of course, the belt would also be needed for the different positions. Here's a look at one of the other positions on there. And it gives you the instructions on how to do all of them. So, very detailed. Love Schumacher instructions. They always have done a really good job. The only position this car doesn't let you mount a battery in is basically like not side to side. So if you tried to mount the battery forward and back, that's the only thing you wouldn't be able to do. Pretty much any other configuration you could think of, this car would be able to achieve. I always enjoy the setup options that the Schumacher manuals have towards the back, so you can get a really good understanding about, changing your wheelbase, for instance, or a ball differential versus a gear differential. They really tell you a lot of different things: diff height, slipper clutch, anti-squat, ride height. And this helps you set up the car. The KD and KC might be some of the first Schumacher buggies that had the front wing as an option. So it's cool to see that back here in the options section. Quick look at those. Something I noticed on this car, the chassis is a very dark color. None of the other Cougars I have this color of chassis. They're all a more bronze or tan looking color. Some of them are gray. Here's a look at the rear end on the car. It's got a lot of aluminum pieces there over the rear diff. Of course, your Schumacher big bores. Here's a close-up look at how that belt and the center motor mount works. You can see the gearbox there. And then it goes back to the rear diff, just like a four-wheel drive car with a belt. And you can see you can get your shorty lipo right underneath of there. So there you go. That is the Cougar KC. A quick look at the car. Little cool facts and some things you may never have seen before. I don't believe this car was super popular, so a lot of guys probably have never seen it at the track. I do want to try running this outdoor on dirt. I know it says it's for Astro and carpet, but what would happen if we try to run it on the dirt?